Been a while, and we're back.
We're back. We're back. It's been a minute. What, like since? Well,
Last
not
Monday.
last Monday, not like this past Monday, but the Monday before that. I had to rep the Black Widow because it drops in a month. 1 month from today. Can't believe it.
Yeah, I'm trying to post it up, man.
It's like old times. Back to the huge.
We back.
We back.
All right. Sorry. Had to post it to the people. Had to let them know.
Right. So we're switching things up. I forgot. We took a little break, and now we've whipped it around on you. As you see, it's no longer WTF Wednesdays. It's Wonderful Wednesday, which in a way is in the spirit of WTF Wednesday because it's us just doing whatever the fuck we want, which is switching it up on you. And now reviews are coming on Wednesday. Marvel, they already said it themselves. Wednesdays are the new Fridays, and honestly, that's what's got my day all fucked up. It does feel like Friday just because a new Marvel came out today.
Yeah, and it's not. So it's like
It's not. It's like Jets. But I like to think Wednesdays it's gonna feel like it goes by faster. Like waiting for Wednesday always feels a little quicker than waiting for a Friday.
Oh, for sure, man.
But go ahead.
You can't hate though. You know, a nice little midweek drop gets you going.
Yeah, I'm never upset to see that Marvel logo come across my screen. So what do you want to do first? Because we've checked out some stuff in the time that we've not been reviewing stuff, so we could talk about those movies, which I don't even know what all those are. I don't know what all both of us ended up seeing.
Not very many. So let's dive into Loki first.
Okay, well, spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Loki.
Spoilers if you ain't watched it today.
So everybody's probably going to jump out now. Everybody's like, I didn't watch Loki. But we'll be here for when you have watched it.
I mean, I don't think it's a very huge spoiler-filled episode.
I was going to say, I even, because I ended up watching it that second time, and I jotted down some notes that second time.
Right.
Yeah, like I want to remember this when we talk about it. And even as I'm looking at my notes, there's really not a whole lot of spoilery things here.
I did see that we did just jump from two down to 0.
So there's not spoilers, and they fucking left. So yeah, let's just dive right into it, dude.
Word, yeah. I mean, I think it's cool. It shows we started off right from where we left off with Loki in the in-game movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice little refresh.
I was thinking about it, and what I think is kind of cool is like we're all thinking like it's taking place right after Endgame, which like technically speaking for us it is, but like for Loki, this is taking place right after the Avengers. Like, none of that other shit happened. So when like the show opens and he fucks off in that scene from Endgame, and like one of the first things he says is like, "It's been a long day," and it's like, well, it's kind of funny because it's been a really long day for Loki, actually, and especially as that day continues, I'm like, that's a long day. You were fighting the Avengers like just a little while ago, and now you're dealing with all this TVA shit. It's a long day.
Yeah, I mean, and when you really think about it, who knows where this show's going to go or what it's going to do, because it could end with plopping Loki right back in there, right in Thor, the Dark World, and it explains his character arc within the MCU in the original, why he ends up becoming more of an anti-hero kind of hero instead of like a villain.
Yeah, it's as it was meant to be.
It was, and I enjoyed this, man. I liked how they kind of did that brief little flashback thing of showing what the time stream is, how the multiverse works, kind of like giving
the little animated like Schoolhouse Rock.
and it's kind of given a little, to me, it was a little bit of a preview of where we're going here in the MCU. It's showing a Nexus event, and we already saw some of that in WandaVision, a Nexus being and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, to me, was very much showing where we're going, like with the Doctor Strange movie, because I believe they even said a Nexus event can spider web off into a a multiverse of madness, and I was like, well, we know where this is going here.
Hey, um, if you think about it, we were all waiting for some multiverse stuff to go down in WandaVision, and Loki is like, it just is. It just is our first foray into the multiverse, and I feel like not a lot of people are like thinking about that. Like we are, but we're not at the same time. Where it's like we're still waiting for the multiverse to happen, but it's here. Like Loki is our first foray into the multiverse, like officially, which
Officially, yeah.
is really cool. And that's what I was talking about earlier with like, the with it taking place the same day as the Avengers in 2012, and that being that Loki, like in the MCU, the Thor and Loki story arc has always been my favorite. Like I've always enjoyed their brotherhood, and especially now with the show and looking back on that story arc,
Yeah.
yeah, Loki's honestly one of my like favorite characters from
Yeah.
MCU, like top five. He always has been, and because he's so layered, and they really get into that in this first episode. And I'm glad he watched like the tape, like the rest of the way. I'm glad he watched like now he's caught up, and I dug that. Like when he goes to the TVA, like pretty much that whole episode, we're along the ride with him.
Mhm.
Like we're figuring things out as he's figuring things out. We're asking the same questions he's asking, and like there is that one part where it's like, but wait a minute, Loki, there's something we know that you don't. And then it's like, oh, well, here's a tape to catch him up on that. And now we're all at the same place. We understand the TVA, he understands his other life. Like, dope, we're all caught up. And
Mhm.
it's very smooth, I feel like. Um,
Very smooth episode. Very nice little teases of who potentially will be the villain of the series. You know what I'm saying there? I think at the end, I caught a quick little scene there with the guy burning down some people
mhm.
standing there. I don't know if they ever confirmed or said who that was.
Well, I mean, they said it was Loki. But my thing is, I think it's going to be Lady Loki. I think that's going to be the whole thing. I think that's the whole twist here. Uh, just because there's like some other actress in this show, and she didn't show up in this episode, so I'm just kind of assuming that she's Lady Loki. Uh, and everybody was hyping that second episode, who got like the early streamers and stuff. I'm like, that's why I was like, damn, I wish we got, yeah, that would have been rad, like to just kind of roll right off into that next one. Uh,
Yeah. I feel like that would have maybe benefited because, like I said, it was just very basic, intro seasons of to a show episode.
yeah.
A lot of emotion, a lot of therapy type stuff, but not really any.
Like, have you noticed in all the MCU shows so far, there's been like this theme of like, there's been like the whole therapy aspect of like, it's all of these characters dealing with the repercussions of the previous
Yeah.
saga, I suppose. And then there's also been this thing with each show where there's always like pairs. Like there's always like this iconic pair at the root of like every show. Like there's Wanda and Vision, there's Sam and Bucky, and now we have Loki and Mobius.
Yeah.
I feel this like thing going on, and I love their back and forth. Like, and I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to more of that. Owen Wilson's killing it. I'm definitely loving it so far.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a fun little episode of introducing the show. I think it's going to be bonkers, and I'm excited to see where it goes because I haven't really looked too much into this one.
Yeah,
So,
I really haven't myself. Other
mhm.
than hearing what people said about the second episode, just a little bit. I didn't even watch most of those, so
Right.
only know a bit. But I just like I don't know. Like I said, I can tell I'm gonna really enjoy the rest of this just because I love Loki. I've always enjoyed this story arc, and I love like philosophical time shit. Like most of what they're talking about in Loki is just what I spend my time thinking about. It's just I think all that shit is so interesting, like and all that multiverse time stuff, and I love how casual it all is.
Mhm.
Like the I think one of the best scenes is when he tries escaping and he finds the drawer full of Infinity Stones.
Yes, yes.
Just that realization of like, is this the most like is this the greatest power in the universe or something like that? I'm just like that realization that hits them and like that shift after that, like That is, I don't know. That kind of, I thought that was kind of crazy myself. Like when I saw again, just on that ride with Loki, I was just like, wait a minute, y'all just use those as paperweight? Like
Well,
what
and it was
shit on like everybody, like all these other villains.
It's in no. Well, see, it's interesting to note. Somebody, when I was looking at, briefly looked over like people discussing this online, and
Mhm.
somebody had pointed out that most of them are time stones, and they're like that would make sense that people were using the time stones and fucking with time,
Yeah,
and became variants because of that,
yeah,
and they got pulled over there and reset, and they just drew the time stone and throw it in the fucking box. We don't need that.
yeah. It does make sense.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's interesting to note that and it makes sense when you think about that most variance in time, if they're trying to maintain one stream, would come from somebody getting a stone that was not supposed to get a stone.
right.
And it's like, no, 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 no. Thanos needs to because that was an interesting thing too,
Yeah,
When Loki told them, nah, it's the Avengers you should go after because I only got that because they went back in time and messed it up. And they're like, no, like that was supposed to happen.
right. They were supposed to go back in time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
So
like,
it's fun. It's fun to see all that, and so that means Captain America was supposed to fight Captain America and all this stuff. That was all supposed to go down, but Loki grabbing that box and no, that wasn't.
oh, that was the only. And honestly, if you think about it, like within Endgame, that's really the variance. Like on their plan, like everything else was smooth, except for that. That was not supposed to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm hyped to see who else pops up in the show.
I loved the joke about do a lot of people not know they're robots,
Yeah.
and he's just very concerned about it. My one issue with the show though is like it is funny and stuff, but it's like I feel like visually the tone doesn't match. Like
Right.
I feel like there's something missing from it. Like it's just like slightly off from like Thor Ragnarok or Guardians of the Galaxy, where like it feels like it should be more quirky than it
Mhm.
is, and it's not. And something and like I feel like maybe that's what they're going for, like because everything like just feels like this weird like bland, but at the same time like bland and grand. That's what it feels like. That's kind of a great way to
Yeah, I vibe with that. I get what you're saying. I
yeah.
agree.
But Loki, yeah, I'm excited. We're back to the weekly wait.
Yeah, we'll see more next week. I'm excited to get there.
And we're gonna
Uh,
get hit with Black Widow in the middle of all that too. So
that'll be dope.
that's fun. And then I was
Well,
looking at the release calendar, and it's kind of dope that there's really like a month in between. Like like you said, it's like wall to wall. Like we just have superhero stuff to subsist on through the rest of the year. So that's awesome.
it's gonna be really dope, man. And on top of everything releasing, we're gonna be getting news of all this other shit going on. I know they just released like a photo of the Michael Keaton bat suit with some blood on it or some shit for the Flash movie, which is dope.
Yeah, I think they just announced the cast for Namor. So yeah, big thing.
Yeah, a lot of dope shit going on in the background. I'm hype. I'm hype.
Hype, hype. So what did we watch? What did we watch? I know I
I,
watched a lot.
I tried, but I didn't watch, I guess, as much as I would like to have.
Right. That happens. Well, I guess one I know for sure that we both saw was Cruella.
Yes, yes. I did watch Cruella, me and the old lady. Uh, we watched that when it dropped. It's a nice little movie, man. I thought that was a pretty good adaptation as far as Disney movies go.
Yeah,
And like,
I was very shocked.
yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
I did too. Kind of weird how they made Cruella this new like hero, anti-hero type character, but it's like I guess it makes sense why she'd go after the dogs.
Yeah,
That's what I kept
I
thinking like the
felt
whole time.
that from the jump. I was like, I'd kill those fucking Dalmatians too. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, man, I was pleasantly surprised with it. My bar was kind of low, even though like I love Emma Stone. I really like that director a lot too. Like he's made a lot of good stuff. Um, but I don't know. I feel like the past few live action Disney's just kind of put a bad taste in my
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like I dug Maleficent too, and I felt like this kind of took that route where it's like, let us reinvent something rather than do the like frame by frame. And like, I don't mind the frame by frame, like remake it exactly how you know are gonna do it. But like, I feel like they take out the important parts. Like, I feel like they've ripped out the soul of like at least the Lion King and Mulan both felt like that, where they just like it was almost like the same thing, but then it just like they ripped the soul out of it. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
that's fun. But no, I
Yeah.
dug quite a bit.
Yeah, it had great visuals, I thought. A lot of great looking scenes, a lot of
Great
uh,
sound.
great, yeah, and a lot of the colors and everything, outfits on point. You know, that was like the whole gist of the thing. But,
Yeah.
um, you
I
know,
I saw that and Quiet Place Part Two within like a week of each other, and I don't know if you ended up seeing that one or
I
not.
did see Quiet Place Part Two. Yes,
Uh,
those were another. I never saw the first one, so I ended up watching the first one and going to the drive-in and seeing the second one.
I ended up rewatching because I ended up seeing Quiet Place Part Two twice, and between the two viewings, I watched the first one again. But both of those movies, seeing those like that was twice I went to the theaters. I'm like, I almost guarantee this time next year, I bet they both win Oscars for Cruella will win for costumes, and Quiet Place will win for sound stuff, sound stuff.
Yeah, Quiet Place 2 was pretty interesting. I liked the direction they went in it. I guess like, you know, showing a little bit of like the day one when this shit first happens. I did enjoy that. Because you know, you see John Krasinski in the movie and you're like, well, how the fuck is that gonna happen? But like I loved the callbacks to the original movie and where they went with it, them being like from fucking space and stuff. It's like, okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense. That makes sense.
yeah. It was dope in the theater. I mean, it was a great experience at the movie theater. And like I said, I got to see it twice. But I don't know, as like a film geek, I'm still geeking out about this movie. Like technically, like I just thought this movie was a fucking masterpiece. I think the best thing, because I was looking at John Krasinski's like filmography after that, and
Mhm.
everything he's ever directed, he has also starred in as well. And this was like the first time he kind of just stayed behind the camera. And I think that's the best thing that happened. To like now, anytime I see John Krasinski's directing a movie, I'm probably going to go see it just like that, just because of how much I liked his directing in this movie.
No,
It,
yeah, like I said, I thought it flowed really good. I liked the story and how it was like they built off the first one and they heard the radio signal and you know just all that cool shit. I thought it was kind of the only thing that thought was kind of dumb was how when dude was gonna go after the girl, they all just stayed back and he went by himself. It's like y'all should just all go and then meet up and go. Okay,
I think the plan was that he was going to come back, you
yeah.
know. But
No,
then,
I know, but it's just like you. If you would all went, you could have avoided a lot of shit.
yeah, but then they don't get a third movie. So
That is true because, like, I feel like they were still separated by the end, weren't they?
yeah, mhm,
So
yeah.
it'll be interesting to
I,
see if
I'm
it where they go with the third one.
I'm curious where they're going with the third one, and I'm actually surprised that especially after knocking it out of the park, that John Krasinski's not going to direct the third one. I think he's writing it, but not directing it, and I'm like, no shit, go out on top, eh? I mean, I'm sure he's going to go direct other stuff.
Right. Oh yeah.
Um, so we saw those two. So real quick, Cruella, what's the score?
I give it 8 out of 10.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, easily, man. That one was really fun. Watch. I was interested in it until the end. So and then it was like,
It
all
was
right.
satisfying too. Like as a 101 Dalmatians fan, I really dug the way it ended. Like it was very satisfying.
Yeah. I'll be hyped to see the sequel of 101 Dalmatians if they make that because it looked like that's where they were going.
They're doing Cruella too, and one would have to assume
It's going
that's
to be it. Yeah.
what.
Let's
Yeah.
hope.
So let's hope it would be dope to see. And then Quiet Place Part Two.
Quiet Place Part Two, man. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and that's only because I said I watched it at the drive-in. And that was my first time watching any movie at the drive-in. Me and the GF decided, fuck it, let's go over here and watch this drive-in. She ain't never been either. And we both really enjoyed the movie a lot.
It's always a cool experience. Like the first time I went to the drive-in for the first time like a few years ago myself, and it was definitely really cool. My first time was it was a double feature with the like all female Ghostbusters and Star Trek Beyond.
Oh, nice.
Man, Star Trek Beyond was dope. It was really dope.
The double feature for ours was Psycho, and we were like, yeah.
See, I looked them up, and I think the other one would have been really cool to see because Poltergeist is one of my favorite movies. I know that was playing with Conjuring 3. Speaking
Yeah.
of Conjuring 3, y'all check out Conjuring 3?
So, I mean, in all technicalities, I watched some of it. Like, I don't know yesterday, by the time me and her watched that, because I couldn't remember if I had seen the other two, so we ended up just fuck it, let's watch the first two.
Mhm.
And then we watched that one last. I just kept falling asleep in it, man.
Yeah.
To be honest, and I know she was telling me today that that was her least favorite out of the three
Yeah.
because it was a different director. You could just tell that it was just not the same. It didn't have the same atmosphere as the other two.
Yeah. I I think that's why I liked it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have that atmosphere. Because I also ended up rewatching the first two. I'd seen the first one like a few times, and that was the second time I'd watched the second one. Um, and I just feel like it's such an overrated series. Like I can't believe it's such a strong franchise. Like I told you, like I feel like they're always like best the first time you watch them, and
Mm.
it's like you go back and rewatch them, you're like, why did I like this so much?
That's when
I,
you
I timed it in the first Conjuring. I timed it, and the first time anything actually shows up, like on screen for all of 5 seconds, is like 45 minutes into the movie, and then 10 minutes after that is the next time, and then they got some of the shit at the end, but really nothing happens, and I was just like, well, fuck, we could do that. All they did was gloss it with some Warner Brothers money. That's all they fucking did.
Oh yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and the second one I enjoy more, but the third one I don't know. I didn't enjoy that they switched it up. I always dig like a witch story, I guess too, um, but it was still just okay, just like the other ones. So I'd probably go like 6.5.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't watch enough of it to give it a score. I think the last part that I can really remember in it was when the like the dude that the demon jumped to was starting to like do some weird shit, and then I was just,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
out. I
yeah.
was out, bro. Like I couldn't. And then I woke up at one scene to where I think the main dude was like yelling at the lady that I was like, like today when I was talking to the girl, I was like, I couldn't tell the devil. I don't know who she was, and she's like, she's a witch. Yeah, it's like that. Is that the devil that made him do it? That's what I assumed when I woke up, and I was like, all right. But I mean, like as funny as it was, I kind of picked up enough on that to know some sort of coven witch problem that they were having,
Yeah,
even in my little sleep.
yeah. I give it that little 0.5 for potential.
I'll probably go back and rewatch it at some time just because I got HBO Max and I get bored. So
Yeah, word. Um, One, I don't know if you ended up catching. Did you see Army of the Dead?
no, I did not see that one.
I have thoughts on Army of the Dead. I gotta say, it was definitely the biggest disappointment of this
Yeah,
last one because
I think that's what steered me away from watching this one is that I
yeah.
heard enough people be like, eh.
Well, especially it's so weird because like I feel like I was so much more hyped for that than Justice League, and then I turned around and watched Justice League like a billion fucking times, and then Army of the Dead. Like I did end up watching it a second time. No, well, not even. I didn't even. I actually turned it on to fall asleep to that second time. Uh, I don't know. It suffers from the classic DC problem. Zack Snyder just brought the problem over to an original work, where like he's focusing more on building a universe than just making a cool movie, you
Right.
know. And there's so much shit in it that I'm like, this is all kind of weird. And now that like the internet's got to talking about it, it sounds cool, like in theory, but my thing is you can't make a movie like that. Like you can't make a movie based around hypotheticals that you might make someday. Like make a good story now and I will come back for the rest of it. But
Right.
like to make such a story that like especially for a Snyder movie that's, it's fucking long. So it's like 2.5 hours long, but then you got something like Justice League that's 4 hours, does not feel like 4 hours, flies by. This 2.5 hours drags ass. There's like you can count on one hand like these really cool like scenes and moments, and I'm like, it's one of those movies that's just mediocre but has cool shit in it. And like how they're building a universe, it's unique, but I just don't give a fuck because of the way they did it. Like, and the movie just felt like such a slap in the face when you get to the end of that 2.5 hours and it ends the way it does.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck you. Like, that's so dumb. I just sat here for fucking 2.5 hours for this. Like, that was so stupid. And I don't feel like that often during the movie. So I was very disappointed uh, with it. But I'm a sap, so I know I'll go back for more when they release the prequel series and the other movies and the rest of the universe. So
Right. Word. Yeah. I mean, I might check it at some point again. It's one of those,
yeah,
who knows? Maybe when I'm on a week of vacation and bored.
it could be like the Snyderverse. I could be swayed. Like as I'm fine. Like once a story builds out, like even in the Marvel universe, there have been movies where I'm like, that was okay, but now I'm like, no, they're an integral part of the fucking tapestry, and it happens. So we'll see. Um, I think the only other one was Spiral, and I don't think you caught that one.
No, I never caught that one either.
No, I dug it, and I know some people were disappointed by it, but I don't know what those people were expecting. You know, but
It's one that I really do want to watch though, because I watched the rest of the Saw movies.
people were like, "Oh, it's just Saw again." I'm like, "Yeah, and like that's what I fucking keep coming back to these for." So,
That's
I
what
mean,
it's
it had
supposed to be.
it had just about everything. Uh, the traps were felt like they kind of dialed it down, but at the same time, like I don't know, they were cool. Like the few traps that they did have, like were cool. It definitely didn't have that tension of like, oh, will they, won't they make it out? Like
Right.
it was usually they receive something in the mail. It's like, yeah, no, this person's already dead, and then they'd flash back to traps and stuff. But like, I don't know. I like that they just basically made a Saw movie with a budget, like a big budget. Like I don't know, those movies feel like they get cheaper as they go,
Right.
and the fact that they are like, no, let's shell out, let's like give it a new paint job, and let's get Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, and they set up a new little storyline, and other people were like, oh, it was obvious who the killer was, and I'm like, maybe, but maybe I was just like too invested. Maybe I was just like looking for it too hard and missed it. It just went over my head because I was surprised. I was like, oh shit, okay. So I'm looking forward to the next one. So I'd probably give Spiral, I'll say 7.5.
Cool.
7.5. And
I'll
then
definitely be checking that one out.
Army of the Dead, I'm probably just gonna go 6. 6 on Army of the
Get your shit together.
Dead. Together. Uh, the only other thing I saw that I'd recommend was the new Bo Burnham special on Netflix. Inside, I love Bo Burnham, and this was his best work yet.
Nice.
It's deeply uncomfortable and hilarious and personal. Like that man, like if you want to see an artist just like bare his fucking soul, there you go. Like it's definitely like I don't know. I always dig that about Bo Burnham, like his comedy just making people kind of uncomfortable by getting that real. I definitely enjoy it.
Word.
10
Word.
out of 10 would recommend Bo Burnham side.
Cool. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of dope shit coming up this year, so
Yeah,
still got some more dope shit to talk about.
yeah. I can't wait for next Wednesday. Loki episode
Some
2.
more, some more Loki coming out at you next Wednesday for sure, for sure. and whatever else comes out between. I don't know if anything new is going to drop on Friday. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Oh, I think there's a movie I want to go see, but I don't think you're going to go see it.
Probably not.
The Heights, the musical.
Yeah. I mean, I won't go out of my way to see it, but you never know. I might get dragged to it by somebody else.
You might. I hope so, and I hope you love it. I hope I love it. I hope it's not because that's one I was looking forward to last
Yeah.
year before the old vid happened. So
Musicals are pretty dope, man. I don't hate on them.
yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Life would be weird if it was a musical. So
For sure, for sure. Hey, we have kind of musical numbers ourselves coming up.
We do.
And, maybe we'll have to get real meta, review our own shows and shit like that.
we might have to be like, I don't know who these guys are, but let's.
Have you guys do a reaction video to Chase Shep Summer Camp of Horrors?
I got it.
How shocking! They said what? They did what? There's a lot more information about to drop on that soon.
Yep.
But I'm loving it. I'm loving the way it's turning out. And it's going to make for a good summer treat for everybody. If the fucking cicadas don't eat us first.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So
we'll have to see what happens.
We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Smooches and deuces. We'll see you next Wednesday if we don't see you before that.